he had a Mitchell camera. We put it on the monitor, on the SGI monitor, and we would be rendering frame by frame. And we brought a PA to frame record as the renders came out, and he would like wake up, see the render hit record on the Mitchell camera, and fall back asleep. Then he would wake back up and not remember if he'd hit record. It was a really tough all-nighter, like working overnight for a week. But we did tests and they liked it, and we ended up doing 3.5 minutes of visual effects, 58 shots, which was quite a considerable amount at the time for this low-budget movie, and it was great. All kinds of effects, and trying to figure out how to scan stuff. I was calling around, and all the people could do is like slides. They could scan slides, and it was, I don't know what it was, like $8 a slide or whatever. A lot of great stories. I can go down that one with like finding Larry Sinclair, who had 2 Crays and a laser film recorder and scanner that he used. And, I kept calling around, and everywhere they would say, well, we can, what's your resolution? We can scan 4K. We can scan 8K, 4K, 2K. And then I called Larry, and he's like, oh, we can scan at 65K. And I said, what? Excuse me? And he had a very clever pricing model, which was per megabyte. And he built this laser film recorder that we went and saw. And Tron was done on that. All of Tron was recorded with that, as well as The Last Starfighter. And he said the first shots he'd film recorded with that thing was for Yul Brynner Vision, which was 255 pixels, but like recorded at 65K. These giant, this giant grid. But it was just crazy early days, and it was all we're trying to figure stuff out. And we finally went with we're trying to use the SGIs and Alias system, but they weren't renting out. They were like, you have to buy it. We ended up going with the Digital Arts RenderMan spec system on 486 machines with transputers. So it was 17 transputers that would render. You see the buckets come out, and pretty crazy days. It was just me and Donna Trujillo, and I hired a friend of mine who's for IT to tech support, like make sure the computer's running. We were on the set in Chatsworth, and every day, 5 times a day, they would just shut the power off without telling us, and we had the UPS system that would save our lives.
Wow.
But it was a great experience walking out and seeing these miniatures, and Rick's shooting something on set. And the reason I love that project was, and Disney eventually bought it and released it. And Rick would come off the set. This is summer 1990. He would come off the set and go, hey, if I shoot these guys from up on a ladder, can you guys insert them into this matte painting digitally? And it was like, yeah, why not? Let's try it. And I think to this day, that was one of the first. A lot of firsts happened. Not a lot of people heard about the movie. It wasn't like, a massive blockbuster. It was good fun. I've seen it on DVD and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. It's not like, I won't recommend you watch it, but it was like, we had an amazing time doing crazy. I had an all CG pterodactyl, flying pterodactyl in it. We were lighting a treehouse with fireflies. We were sucking kids into a TV, having them go through interdimensional vortex. Just the 3 of us, team of 3, and we were film recording off the monitor, and the first few months of it, we're like dimming the lights and just recording overnight. And then finally we made this black cone between the Mitchell camera. It was Rick's Mitchell camera and the monitor. And it was like, why didn't we do this before? We could film record in the daytime and not dim the lights. It was one of those like really simple things. It was like, should have done that first. Mm-hmm. So that was early days.